So I did end up managing to find where it did save last week, and I did manage to upload it, but it was in a different spot. But now Zoom looks the way it should, so it should be easy this week.
I just hate it
Good.
when Zoom does upgrades because then everything
Oh,
changes and
yeah,
you get
yeah.
all it's messier.
Yeah.
And there's no warning, so you have to get on like 10 minutes early to actually see if it's going to upgrade before you have a meeting.
Yeah,
Mm.
very true.
But
Very true.
at least we don't have to do all that manually. Remember when you had to, when you had to like do new versions manually, you'd be sent like a disk and you'd have to
Oh,
upgrade
yes.
software.
I
Yeah.
never did that. How old are you, B?
Well, as an accountant, we had accounting software before the cloud. You actually had the software on your computer. So they'd send you a disk to upgrade the software. And the problem is that your clients may or may not have upgraded. You don't know what version they've got. It was just a mess.
Mm.
Just a
I,
mess. So you'd have to
I
have every
vaguely
version.
remember that. Yeah, I vaguely remember that. I
Hmm.
was so young then.
We were
How do we
all
go
so
with
young then.
our how do we go with our lessons this week?
Well, I'm going to say really good.
Excellent.
Yay.
And so I had two. If you further recognize that you are part of God, you will understand why it is that you always attack yourself first. And arising from your own decision not to be what you are, it is an attack on your identification. So, and funnily enough, I was just thinking that this morning, um, because I think I've told you guys I didn't have such a great relationship with my dad, but I grew up thinking how much I looked like him. And every time we got with our cousins or aunties and uncles and what have you, they'd say, God, you look like your father. But when I was up in Queensland, which of course was part of the new chapter of life in my life, I remember looking in the mirror one day and saying to myself, you look nothing like your father. You look like you. You are your own person and you look like you. And I was just thinking about that this morning. So it's really interesting. So when I look in the mirror now, I find it difficult to find my father. And then when I have those thoughts of trying to find him, it's like, what the hell do you want to do that for? So, yeah. So, I mean, that's from the physical aspect. Um, but yeah, I guess internally, I am my own person and I like who I am. And I just get better and better every day.
Yes, you do, darling. You do. I had a relatively good week this well as well. I had some good awarenesses, and tonight I'm going to stick with the same one I had last week because it's deep for me and it's purposeful. So it was God will do his part if you do yours. Remember to see oneness. Nothing is beyond his will for you, but simply your will to to remind you of him, and behold, he will give you everything but for the asking. So the only real quest is to see oneness as much as we possibly can. And that was easy, it was meaningful, and it was um, applicable and seamless to apply. So I'm sticking
Beautiful.
with it for a while.
Awesome.
How did you fit that all on one post-it note?
I wrote small. You notice I squinted, didn't you? Yeah, I wrote small.
Beautiful.
Come on,
Yeah.
how many post-it notes did you use, Gary?
I had three post-it notes from last week, but I just abandoned all the other ones for this one because they all kind of basically said the same thing.
Yeah.
If you notice, the Course in Miracles says the same thing over and over and over again, just in slightly different ways. But this one kind of sums it up for me.
Yeah, it does. It's it's funny because my lesson was you will know that you have given up dissociation when you feel joy, peace, and the glory of creation. And the one before that, the week before, it was what was it? My journal. Very lovely journal. Accept and learn from dissociation so you can know them and have no fear. So the focus was on the dissociations last week, and like I'm just getting all discombobulated with the actual meaning of the word. And this week you will know that you have given up dissociation when you feel joy, peace, and the glory of creation. So I was focusing on joy, peace, and the glory of creation and how it showed up for me. And now it doesn't matter about dissociation at all. And it kind of feels like we get stuck on a word at some points and what the actual meaning is. But sometimes it's better to know what the opposite is, I think, and just it's there so that you've got the contrast of what you want and what you don't want.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
Mm.
I think
And
that's
that's
why all the darkness is there is to give us a contrast.
yeah, yeah,
It has to be that balance.
yeah. And I did get to see lots of joy, peace, and the glory of creation and experience it and share
Awesome.
it. And it was lovely.
I had a client this morning who was telling me this very long story about how he leased out his mother's rental property to someone, and they had a big marijuana growing thing that they did on the land, and then they got busted by the cops. The house got condemned. They had AR-15 rifles in there, so they were like big time drug dealers, and
Wow.
uh, and they did about $50,000 worth of damage to the interior of the home. And so he was really upset about it. And as he was talking, he kept going down to what I really want is peace. What I really want is to change my life for peace. And I was like, well, what an angel that renter was. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, well, you are overwhelmed by the complexity of what you now have to do, which has brought you to this point where you've decided to sell most of your rental properties because you can put those investments in something that has no maintenance, no risk, or minimal risk. And look what that particular experience did for you. It's pushed you to that place where you're going to choose a completely different methodologies for growing your wealth rather than the risk of real estate. It was like, maybe I should thank them. And I'm like, yeah, maybe you should.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
it's the contrast always and how we frame the contrast that turns it into a curse or a blessing.
Well,
Yes.
nothing should be complicated, and yet we tend to think that way. Is that just a human way, or is that an individual experience to complicate a simplistic
I
moment?
I think it is when things don't go the way we think it should go, we judge and we
Yep.
call it wrong.
Yeah.
When in reality, it may not be that at all, other than a lesson and something to distill from our experiences to bring us back to oneness. If we did that, that alone would give us a tremendous amount of peace.
Yep. Yep.
Yes. Indeed.
Yeah.
Shall we start reading?
Yeah.
Yes, we should. Did you share V? You shared, didn't you?
Yes, I shared that I don't need to worry about dissociations because I can focus on joy, peace, and the glory of creation.
And that's all you ever really needed, wasn't it?
Yes.
Awesome.
Let me see. There it is. We read we read the first paragraph, but because it's the start of a new paragraph, shall we reread it?
I think we
Sure.
should.
Yeah.
You want me to
Yeah.
start, V?
Yes, please.
The God of sickness. You have not attacked God, and you do love him. Can you change your reality? No one can, no one can. That makes no sense. No one can will to oh, that does make sense. No one can will to destroy himself. When you think you are attacking yourself, it is a sure sign that you hate what you think you are. And this, and only this, can be attacked by you. What you think you are can be very hateful, and what this strange image makes you do can be very destructive. Yet the destruction is no more real than the image. Although those who make idols do worship them, the idols are nothing, but their worshippers are the Son of God in sickness. God would have them released from their sickness and return to his mind. He will not limit your power to help them because he has given it to you. Do not be afraid of it because it is your salvation.
Hmm.
I'm thinking we need to read the next paragraph to find out what the heck he's talking about.
Shall we do two in one then?
I think we
Okay,
shall.
All right.
Who would
Shall I
like to
read
read?
that one?
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. What comforter can there be for the sick children of God except his power through you? Remember that it does not matter where in the sonship he is accepted. He is always accepted for all, and when your mind receives him, the remembrance of him awakens throughout the sonship. Heal your brothers simply by accepting God for them. Your minds are not separate, and God has only one channel for healing because he has but one son. God's remaining communication link with all his children joins them together and them to him. To be aware of this is to heal them because it is the awareness that no one is separate and so no one is sick. Does it help?
So, no, no, it does. It does. So, how I'm reading this is that we're defining sickness as the belief that we are separate from God. Is that is that in agreement with everyone?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it begins to make a lot more sense. Does anyone else have any questions about these two paragraphs?
When you were talking, Gary, it was a bit of deja vu for me about going back to like the judgment, and it was a particular class, but it's gone now anyway. But it was talking about how, yeah, there is no sickness. I think it was coming up before, and it's like this is all just made up, and um, you get to choose.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So separation is the sickness.
Mm,
The
mm,
belief that we are separate is a sickness.
mhm.
Can I share with you guys this beautiful statement I heard from a Buddhist monk?
Mm.
Of course.
Because it kind of goes along with this from the perspective of that, well, I'll just recite it. Um, the Buddhist monk was asked, what happens at the time of your death? And he said, when you were born, you were like a single drop of water flying upward, separated from the one giant consciousness. As you get older, you descend back down and you die. And as you descend, you become one once again with the ocean. No more separation, no more suffering. Death is a happy return, like coming home.
Mm. Love that.
So So when we think of separation, it literally is like we are a drop of the ocean. The ocean is us, and we are the ocean. So ultimately, there can never be a separation. I love
Mm.
that metaphor.
Mm.
I love that sentence, death is a happy return, like coming home. That's really
Yeah,
nice. Mm.
I can't wait. It's gonna be so much fun.
I've seen it and heard it a few times, and it might have even been during our conversations here about how I think it was Ram Dass that says it that you want the purpose is to die while you're still alive.
Meaning that you die to the attachments of the world.
Yeah.
You die to the, not that you die to the senses, but you quit craving the senses and you only crave God. So
Mm.
you die to the world, but you're fully
Mm.
alive in spirit.
Mm.
The master in India would always say that, die before you die.
Mm. Mm.
Die
That's
to the
it.
world.
Mm.
Mm.
Beautiful. Shall we move on to number three then?
Yes.
Done two in one. Linda, would you like to do number three?
You're
Sure.
up, Linda.
Thanks. To believe that a son of God can be sick is to believe that part of God can suffer. Love cannot suffer because it cannot attack. The remembrance of love therefore brings invulnerability with it. Do not side with sickness in the presence of a son of God, even if he believes in it. For your acceptance of God in him acknowledges the love of God he has forgotten. Your recognition of him as part of God reminds him of the truth about himself, which he is denying. Would you strengthen his denial of God and thus lose sight of yourself? Or would you remind him of his holiness and remember your Creator with him? Hmm.
Mm.
So, really, all you need is love.
For
Okay.
me,
Yeah,
go
you
ahead,
good?
V.
No, you go.
Ladies first. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So for me, it's like I don't love easily, meaning that I don't just love for love's sake. I have to connect to something higher. I have to, I can't start with love. I have to grow into love. So as I'm giving meaning to something and I can connect a person or place or thing with the divine, I can start to feel love. But it's not something that comes naturally to me. I used to tell people I'm not a naturally happy person. I work at my happiness. I focus my mind away from the things that would normally frighten me or make me judge. And it's a choice to choose to see oneness, and then I can start to feel love. How are you? Are you guys the same or are you different?
Same, very much the same. And thank you for explaining it in that way because it's a bit hard to explain it as to. I like to think that I can love easily, but I can fall easily, but it's not the love so much.
Right. We could become infatuated, like with another person, for instance. Hey,
Hey,
Joey.
Joe.
Hey, Joe.
We could become infatuated, but that's not love. That's That's sex, that's infatuation, that is sensuality, all that. And that
Almost.
definitely is not love. But as you see all the flaws in another person, and they see the flaws in you, and they accept you regardless, and you can speak through that and talk through that, it can grow into love. It's I told Robert, I said, stop telling me you love me. If you're still with me 7 years from now, maybe I'll believe it. And I would never tell him, I love you.
Mm.
I waited 7 years before I would say it. 7 years rocked up and I said, huh, how come you're still here? And then I started saying, I love you back
Mm.
because I got that we had gone through all that nonsense around infatuation and sexuality and my needs are met or my needs are not met and blah, blah, blah. All that nonsense to a deep, profound love. But it took literally his commitment to me to teach me how to love because I literally didn't know. I know about, a spiritual love, but as far as the love of the world, I didn't trust anybody. Anybody else feel like that?
Yep, I'm hearing you.
Yeah. So for me, when I read this about, really, and it's true, Linda, this is what we need to do is we do need to love. But we also in a body, we also have our personalities, we also have our history that has us wired up in a way that gives automatic responses and chemical and hormonal shifts in our body through what we perceive, then we have to manage that and love through that and see the reality of it. So, I'm very much what's the word? The word's impatient with woo-woo chanting and drumming and all that crystal stuff. It's like, and I love all that stuff. I literally do. But people will oftentimes be satisfied with surface transformation because they get a little bump emotionally, rather than the deep transformation, which is sustainable, which grows a much deeper foundation for people. And I think for me, anyways, it's important to distinguish, the word love. What does that mean? Because very
Mm.
few, at least in my life, I've witnessed very few people who know how to love.
Is that because you have to be able to love yourself first before you can actually make it an outward love?
I I I don't have an answer for that. I don't know that. I think people can. I know, like, all I have is Robert, who's been a great teacher for me, who doesn't necessarily love himself all the time, but loves to a deeper degree than what I've ever experienced before. So when we
Mm.
start thinking about what is love, I think love's kind of a sacred word. And how are we going to use that? It's easy to say, but I think it's more challenging to demonstrate it. And the course does say that I mean, the whole answer in my mind is I have to see I have to see the spark of the divine in the other. I have to consciously choose to see that. And when I do, I can recognize it in myself more. If I don't see that and I judge instead, I stay grossly separated. So, literally, my walk to this place of peace is by how I evaluate, judge, and treat the people around me in my mind, not in action, but in my mind, where no one can see. And when I do that, that discipline gives me the strength to go forward and I grow then. But if I don't do that, all of it's just lip service.
Mm. Yeah.
Is that too much of a downer?
No, it's the complete opposite, Gary. It really is the complete opposite.
I just thought, oh, I went dark.
It makes sense because the people that I think of when they walk into a room and they look like they love everyone, but when you just get to know them and when you sit down with them, that's all just an act.
Yeah.
And they've got all judgy stuff going on.
Yeah,
They've been judging the people that they've been really friendly with.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
it does make sense that you need to open up. You need to allow yourself to be vulnerable, I guess, so you can actually get that connection. And as you get to experience people, then those connections can grow. And if you're coming from a place of love, then there is no judgment and you can accept them as they are. But it does take time, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does. It takes a
Yeah.
lot of practice. I do want to point out something that is incredibly important on this call. I want you all to look at how handsome Joe looks with his hair cut short. Does he look great? Joe, you look great.
Good to see you,
Joe,
Joe.
Joe, you
Mhm.
do. I'm looking at you. I'm like, wait a minute. I think I'm seeing a little bit of Burt Reynolds.
Before the surgery.
I'd be a happy man with that Trans Am.
Well, just wanted to acknowledge it, Joey. We've missed seeing your face.
Yeah.
I'm just
And
grateful
welcome,
I'm
Jake.
not as miserable as I have been for the last several months.
It's fine, and I'm happy that that's true as well.
Yeah.
That's
We
good.
still
That's
feel
good
you.
news.
We still want
Yeah,
you here.
but you look like a stud, buddy. So all the suffering did.
Yeah.
Let's talk
I'm
about
still,
what's
I'm
really
still,
important here.
Get
I'm still
yourself out to
recognizing my,
Hollywood.
oh,
Listen to you,
I am
James.
not that type of guy.
Sorry.
No, there's too much toxicity
Oh,
there, that's for sure. No,
That
no,
is
no.
true. That's like a walking snake pit
Yeah.
my Hyoka empath abilities would get me assassinated quick after mirroring so many people's, I can't say
stuff.
that word here. Yes, thank you. Stuff.
Stuff. Stuff and things.
Yes.
Mm.
Stuff and nonsense. Oh.
Definitely kinder words than I was thinking.
And actually, something else you were saying, Gary, reminded me that if you're shining a light on people, if you're seeing the good, that kind of happened with me. I've been having this thing about people thinking they're royalty or wanting to be treated like royalty, and it's been triggering me. There's one particular lady who I was thinking that of once I was doing my practice, actually came up and had a chat, and she's quite lovely.
Yeah,
So it changed in my mind, and it's changed around me. So that's yeah.
I
yeah,
guess it's in different situations, though, isn't it? How people are. So if it's business related, as an example, people can be quite different. People can talk differently. Their vibes seem different. But if you're having a personal one-on-one, they're relaxed. They want to talk to you. The subject can be vast.
Mm, maybe, but I feel like it was more of my changing. I've changed my mind. I was looking for the joy, peace, and glory of creation, so that's what I saw in her, instead of what I was imagining before and judging before and being triggered by.
yeah. Isn't it interesting how most of our upset is a transference and a projection of our own minds? Has really nothing to do with what's actually happening in the other person.
Yeah, exactly how I feel about it now.
Mm.
They've changed my mind, and somehow they appear different. They're still
Well,
the
in
same person.
in in Neville's book, Resurrection, he writes, the fastest way to change anyone is to change your judgment. There you go, Joe, is to change your judgment of them.
Hmm.
And then they change. In
Yeah.
your perception, they change.
And all of that
Yep.
fits into my phrase from last week. All attack is self-attack.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, I really wish that there was some villain that we could all point our finger at and say, "You're the cause of my unhappiness," or "You're the cause of why I'm not following my path." but it really is all us, absolutely all us. And the way out is really through the ability to see the oneness and stop the separated judgment. That's the way out.
Mm.
Are
Shall
we
we move on to
four now?
4? What's
We're on
right?
number four. I asked if we were on number four yet. Joe
It's a
or
bit.
Jane, you want to read?
I could try and stumble through here.
Go on, Jay.
To believe a son of God is sick is to worship the same idol he does. God created love, not adultery. How do you say that?
That's how you say it, I think.
Adultery. Okay. All forms of
Idolatry.
adultery are caricatures of creation.
Idolatry. It's idolatry.
Idolatry. Okay. So let me reread that. God created love, not idolatry. All forms of idolatry are caricatures of creation taught
Caricature.
by sick minds too divided to know that creation shares power and never
Usurps.
usurps. Thank you. Usurps it.
Uh,
Sickness is idolatry because it is the belief that power can be taken from you. Yet this is the impossible. Yet this is impossible because you are part of God, who is all power. A sick God must be an idol made in the image of what it what its maker thinks he is. And that is exactly what the ego does perceive in a son of God. A sick God, self-created, self-sufficient, very vicious and very vulnerable. Is this the idol you would worship? Is this the image you would be vigilant to save? Are you really afraid of losing this? I feel like I butchered that paragraph
Hey,
oh
you
badly.
no,
done
you
good.
did.
That was
You did
actually,
great.
there was some words in there which are like, what? I mean,
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody say idolatry or however you say it.
I, I
Yeah,
yeah.
it means to worship an idol.
Yes.
Okay. And the other one, that C,
Caricatures is like
is that
when
how
you
it
do
was?
those.
That's like a cartoon.
Yeah.
So this is
I
how we
love,
increase vocabulary for all of us. We'll run across words and one of us will know how to say it.
yes, which is why it's so much better to read it together
Yeah, I
and try.
agree.
Yeah.
Awesome.
If you were reading this on your own,
I
how
would have
far
stopped
in do you reckon you
multiple
would have got
times.
before thinking, I don't understand any of that?
I would have
Well,
stopped multiple times to refer to the dictionary to comprehend what words I'm trying to say.
or just ask Siri, she'll tell you.
I could read this, and I have started a couple of times, but I just kind of, it's quite superficial. Whereas now we're like, people are coming up with ideas of what does this mean, and then you have to actually think about it and dive into it, and so much more powerful. If I just read it, it would have no effect.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If I read it like one of my tax references or something, which would be what I would be doing. It's like, no, that's very in the mind.
There's something really powerful that came to me just now as I was reading that third sentence. All forms of idolatry are caricatures of creation taught by sick minds too divided to know that creation shares power and never usurps it. And I love that statement.
Mm,
Meaning, idolatry could be whatever we're worshiping. Like your relationship with your child could be your idol, because that is where your mind is so fully focused that that is what you're worshiping. Or it could be your wealth creation, or it could be, your body or your partner. It could be anything where your mind has obsessed on this one thing. It becomes an idol to you. And so it's like a caricature of creation because it's like our concept of what we're worshiping is a concept in our own minds. It's not really the thing, it's the concept of what we made up about it. And that divides the mind. So I that
And
gave me a lot of clarity, that line.
and in essence, it's really points to what is missing in us, or what we
Yeah,
think is missing in us.
yeah.
Mm.
That is very helpful, Gary. Thank you. It's like, yeah,
Well,
so we're obsessing about something, and are we making that the God of our world? Is what because this is what we want.
I'm gonna have to run my phone down to Robert because there's car things on this that a car guy's coming for the
Oh,
car he's got, and I have to let him know. I'll be back in a minute.
sure. What Gary was saying, I just found that really useful with yeah, just understanding what my focus is. What is my focus? What am I making the God of my life? But before he said that, I was thinking of idolatry as also, you know, I used to be all focused on crystals and essential oils, and I still use them, but they're not what's making the change. They're a point of focus, that's all.
For me, they were stepping blocks to get to a higher perspective. So, did I worship them? No. Did I love them? Did I feel like they assisted me with things? Sure. But I wasn't like, I have to have this in my pocket before I leave the house or something like that.
Yeah,
It
not
was more,
attached to them.
even church to me was a stepping stone to finding God. I don't fully believe what another man's perspective is as he preaches it, but it, it still helped me get to the point of where I am today and how I view what I believe to be is God.
Mm. Mm. Shall we go on to number 5? We should have given you that one, Joe. Joe, that's not a short one.
I mean, that's fine. I butchered it, but I learned 3 new words, so I guess that's a good thing.
You didn't butcher it, Joe. You did really well with it.
Yeah, we all would have
Yeah,
I
you
struggled
still
with
did.
felt
that.
I did, but yeah,
I'm
thank you.
still not sure how to say idolatry.
I ended up playing it on the phone because it didn't have it broke down with the syllables. But yeah, I doll a tray. So
Yeah,
y'all were saying it right. I was way over there with it.
it looks like it should read adultery, like with an
Right?
A.
Just
Right.
missed, just missed the A. That's all.
Jane, do you want to read number 5?
Sure. Look calmly at the logical conclusion of the ego's thought system and judge whether its offering is really what you want. For this is what it offers you. To obtain this, you are willing to attack the divinity of your brothers and thus lose sight of yours. And you are willing to keep it hidden, to protect an idol you think will save you from the dangers for which it stands, but which do not exist.
Wow.
Mm. So, but which do not exist, it's the dangers that don't exist.
Yes.
Yes.
I love that line. that to obtain this you are willing to attack the divinity of your brothers and lose sight of yours.
Mm, mm.
I
Ooh.
found myself judging someone like, what was it, Friday or Saturday. And I found myself really going down that rabbit hole. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of my decline, I stopped myself and went, oh, I bring myself back to seeing the God in him because I'm hurting myself. And and I did. So that's why it was a relatively good week because in the middle of a decline into judgment, I was able to stop and flip the switch on it. And that was, I won't say that was new, but I don't know if I have, well, I have in the past, but this was new. It felt like a different energy behind it, like a more warrior like I'm putting my stake in the ground or my sword in the ground on this is to stop this, declining or attacking the divinity of the other.
Mm.
This is a great feeling when you catch yourself from making those situations, from completing those situations, to be able to stop yourself mid-sentence and say, nope, I'm not going there. I'm not,
Mm.
nope. So
Yeah.
good job. I,
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I
And to
definitely feel
really,
myself.
I agree, to stand up and to proclaim, no, this is not the belief system that I want to be working towards. Um,
Well, it's not who we
when I
want to become.
tear,
Mhm.
what was that, Gary?
I said it's not who we want to become.
Right, right, exactly. Mm.
To become or to remain.
Both.
Yeah.
Both.
I keep trying to teach my son, if you don't want to be like one thing, you got to do something differently that one thing isn't consistently doing.
Yeah.
It's hard, but yeah, work in progress.
Always.
Can we squeeze in number 6?
We should.
Hmm. It's your turn again, Gary.
There are no idolaters in the kingdom, but there is great appreciation for everything that God created. Because of the calm knowledge that each one is part of him, God's sons knows no idols, but he does know his Father. Health in this world is a counterpart of value in heaven. It is not my merit that I contribute to you, but my love for you but my love for you do not value yourself. Did I read that right? It's not my merit that I contribute to you, but my love, for you do not value yourself. When you do not value yourself, you become sick. But my value of you can heal you because the value of God's Son is one. When I said, my peace I give unto you, I meant it. Peace comes from God through me to you. It is for you, although you may not ask for it.
Hmm. When you do not value yourself, you become sick.
Mm.
I love that word, value.
That kind of like really smacked me on the side of the head, those words. You become sick. I think of all of the cancers and the diseases that get activated in a body because of faulty, sick thinking. Um,
Mm.
Well, when we think about it, when we judge another, we fear judgment back. So when we
mm,
attack another, we expect attack back. So if we're living our life in a separated mind, attacking others in third thought, word, or action, what happens is that our minds become hyper vigilant, fearing attack, dumping cortisol and adrenaline, and we live in a state of stress, projection, internal, I don't know how many of you do this, but internal dialogues of, well, I should have said this and I would have said that, and now I'll say this over here. Does anyone else do that?
Yeah.
It's totally insane. It's like totally insane. When I find
right.
myself doing it, I'm like, I'm nuts right now. I'm completely crazy. Sometimes I'll be like, stop it, Gary, just stop, stop. And then I stop myself. But what happens is we're dumping cortisol and adrenaline, which are corrosive to the physical body and to our organs. So the more we judge, the more we expect judgment and condemnation back, which causes us to have fear and separation, which causes us to have hypervigilance, which causes our bodies to begin to start deteriorating from the stress hormones. So this, although it's not speaking about the biology of it, this is exactly what the Course in Miracles is saying. We
Yes.
cause our own interior organ deterioration by
Yes.
constantly fearing because we're constantly attacking and judging.
Right.
I've
Right.
never got that as clear as I got it tonight, but that's what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I I agree completely, and I also think I have experienced it come the other way. When I have treated myself physically, my brain changes. When I have
Mm.
been to Pilates to fix chronic back pain, my mind changes and my spirit changes,
Mm-hmm.
and I think differently.
Mm.
Absolutely. And one of the things, Robert just sold his, he had this classic roadster kind of car. I don't even know what it was called, a hearse. I never even heard of them. But anyways, he's selling it, and they took it away yesterday. See how long it takes to sell. But what we did instead is he went out and bought a pontoon boat, like a
Mm.
20-foot
Mm.
pontoon boat. So we've been
Nice.
going out on this lake. I think I may have mentioned it to you before, did I? The
You
Crystal Lake.
did.
So we've been going out on that, and I cannot tell you the physiological change it makes to swim in that lake, to get in the water, to have nothing around you but forests and clouds and sunlight. It's like it so feeds the soul, I don't even have words for it. And the thought that if we can't find oneness, well, I find oneness in nature. I find my ability to get fed by nature. So if we can't get to it and escape our minds, we should get ourselves into nature so that we can connect with the life forms that are there that are non-threatening. Because it's pretty hard for me to like create oneness when I'm in the middle of a shopping mall.
Mm.
That's kind of not going to happen. But get me into the woods and I'm pretty good. I can get there pretty fast.
I think pets are really good to help you. You know when, well, especially horses anyway, you know when you're actually connected, you know when you're in this moment in oneness because they don't approach you otherwise. They don't want to hang out with you because you're dangerous.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
When they have freedom to choose, you get to test yourself. Unfortunately, most
Well,
horses don't have the freedom, but yeah.
I found that horses are this incredible measure of how grounded and connected you are within yourself.
Mm.
And I had a parrot that was a macaw. Like I love this bird like I loved a child. And my bird was so in tune that if someone walked in the house that had subversive energy in any way, shape, or form, he'd get down on his cage, he'd spread his wings, and he'd chase them out of the house. He'd run after them until he herded them to the front door, and then have to leave.
Wow.
When I first brought Robert in, I thought, well, this would be a test to see if he passes. My bird climbed up his leg immediately,
Hmm.
got on his shoulder, and started preening his ears. And he's got a beak that can crack a macadamia nut. And he's just gently just holding Robert's ear in his beak and then touching it with his tongue. And I'm like, oh, that is like a sign of love from a parent. And so this guy's a keeper.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Proves.
like yeah, I could see you looking at Robert and saying, "What are you doing the rest of your life?"
Yeah, that was a sure sign that things he got the most important vote of confidence he could get from my bird.
Beautiful.
Shall we do
Okay.
read our lessons, what we picked?
Yes, let's do that. I have
Jane, you want
mine
to go? Oh, go V.
since I just highlighted. Creation shares power and never usurps.
Hmm.
Mm.
I'm going to keep the one I had last week. God will do his part if you do yours. Remember to see oneness. Nothing is beyond his will for you. But signify your will to remember him, and behold, he will give you everything but for the asking. So,
Mm,
Mm.
wait, this is a powerful one.
mm,
Who's ready?
I am. Uh, Whenever I attack, I lose my value and I lose myself. I'll be checking my attack motives and behavior.
yep.
Fabulous.
Linda, you look very contemplative, or you're frozen. She's frozen. I thought, wow, she's really deep in thought.
Frozen in
Okay,
the moment. She'll come back, hopefully.
she'll come back. Joey,
Joe?
you have your
Um, yeah. Peace comes from God through me to you. And then I ran out of paper, so I didn't finish writing.
maybe that's all you need to know.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I
Well,
do want to ask
like,
the question though.
mm,
sure.
Gary, you've read Course in Miracles once or a couple times. Is there anything in the Course in Miracles about karma? I am looking for literature on karma. I've had an interesting conversation with someone the other day, and the way she interpreted it was pretty mind-blowing to me. And I'm just looking to better wrap my head around karma.
Yeah, I mean, there are phrases in the Course in Miracles that do. I think we've actually even touched on it before. But the bottom line is, karma is always for every action, there's a like and equal reaction. It's really pretty simple. And that means any action through the time that we left the ocean of consciousness till now, whatever action, there's a like and equal reaction for whatever choices that we've made. Personally,
Yeah.
I think we all come in soul groups. Whatever we're experiencing now is really part of that karmic chain. I had this awareness about a week and a half ago because I had someone do this thing that would happen pretty frequently with me, where someone would accuse me of something that, of course, I didn't do, and would be all attacky and vicious, and I sat back and I thought this, excuse the language, I thought this shit was done. Like I've done enough work. I thought it was done. And then I went, oh, no, actually what this actually is this is a karmic debt that I am now reaping, and how I respond to it either perpetuates it or ends it. So I decided to end it, not respond back, not think negative thoughts, not dwell upon it, just I'm just paying back some karma right now. That's all this is. And and then it disappeared. If I would have engaged it in my mind and gotten all kinds of internal dialogue about it and felt it and laid awake at night arguing in my mind, I would have perpetuated it. But I was like, oh, I know what this is, and I also know I'm paying back a debt of some sort, and I'm good with it. This means I can move on and have less experiences like this.
Yeah. I know we don't have much time, so I can't really share the conversation in much depth, but that much I understand in my eyes, the way she did her perspective of it, like that's only surface. Like the way you just shared it, that's like this deep and something that's ocean deep. And it'll take me a few minutes to actually explain what we were all talking about, but it really threw me for a loop and it got me wanting to just dive in a little deeper. How deep does that karmic bond go when working with others, around others, and all of that? Because let's see if I can share a quick portion. She gave me a description of Grandmaster Choakosui through pranic healing, how he had multiple businesses, and if he was to fire one of his employees, he would actually take care of that employee still, pay for the children's college and this and that, all because of his thought towards karma was if this person if I fire this person, they lose their job, they don't find another job, they can't provide for their family, they become homeless, and like just went down the streak with it. And I'm thinking to myself, well, yeah, but the fact of the matter is that person accepted the job with the job description. That person chose not to fulfill their job description, causing them to no longer have a position. Therefore, how is it Grandmaster Choa Kosui's issue that this person chose not to do their job and would get bad karma if that person couldn't, provide for their family? Like it just really threw me for a loop, and I'm just
Well,
trying to like better grasp
you
it.
have to think, Joe. I don't know who the Grandmaster is. I'd be far remiss for me to be able to evaluate his level of evolution and what he knew and all of that. Um, I'm of your mind that if a person doesn't fulfill their job and they've come in and applied for that, agreed to that, and accepted that position, and they didn't fulfill it for whatever reason, then it's their karma to be let go because they
That's
committed to
how we.
something that
That's how I
that
would
they
understand it.
couldn't follow it. I'm
Yeah.
not so sure that her definition in the Grand Master would be correct. I personally would never do that. I would never, if I fired someone, support someone's family and do all of that for concern about a karmic backlash later on in life. I,
Right.
I, we cannot know the intricacies of the matrix of the karmic debts. Because for all we know, that person fired us in some other lifetime and caused us distress. We're put in a position to be able to evaluate their work and not fire them out of revenge, but fire them out of due diligence to the health of your organization and to the health of the culture of your company. So I'm not in agreement with her interpretation of it because first of all, we don't know who the Grand Master is. We don't know what level of awareness he has or awakening he has.
He's the one that brought pranic healing from the Philippines to America and everything that followed. So, I mean,
And
he's definitely a spiritual person and
oh,
spiritually in tune.
undoubtedly. But
But
there's
just
many mansions in the Lord's home. And the Lord's house, there's many rooms, which means that there's many different levels of heavens and many different levels of awakening and spirituality.
right.
So some are, one with God, some are moving in that direction through a certain path that they created or that they follow. There's no judgment on any of it as a hierarchy. It's just that do they fully understand the complexities of the matrix of cause and effect in the world? I'm not saying he doesn't,
Yeah.
but that
And that's
doesn't
what she
ring
keeps
for
saying to me
me.
is it's cause and effect. And in my mind, it doesn't work. It's not like do not disturb type of thing, like error 404, whatever. It just
Yeah.
wasn't sitting. And I kept trying to understand. I got to the point where I just stopped and I was like, everything I know about karma has been taught to me by my elders, those, that are not only older than I am, but have more knowledge and wisdom of the world around us. And so what I want to do is not just say she's right or she's wrong, but I want to better understand karma, which means I need to research, I need to learn, I need to read. And if the
I
Course in
totally support
Miracles,
that.
readings of it, I would love to dive in and get a better understanding. Because she pointed me to stuff that Grandmaster, has in some of his books, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go check it out. But
Look outside the
perspective.
Grandmaster to other
Yeah,
disciplines
different
as well.
perspectives is what I want. So I want
Yeah.
to I want to read his perspectives to better understand where she's coming from, but I also want other perspectives because I'm a Libra. I balance. I don't just take, okay, V, you're right, perfect, thank you. Let me, delete my data, insert yours. We're good now. I can't do that. I find the wisdom within all sides of stories because we all see things differently, even though we're going through the same thing. So
Well, that's
to
wise, Joe.
and
That's
I
wise.
just want to read.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. That's just my take on it.
Mhm.
Uh and just do the research and see what satisfies your intellect and what feels right and follow
Right.
that.
And I've been on your page with karma. Like if you go out and purposely harm somebody, obviously you're going to get bad karma. If you go out and, help somebody, you'll get good karma. To me, it was always plain and simple. Don't be a dick. And after she did all that, I'm like, is there something deeper that I'm not seeing, not knowing? Ooh, is this a new rabbit hole?
Is it a
We'll see what
distraction?
happens.
Could be
It'll
a
take me
new
a while,
rabbit
but
hole for sure.
well, we'll see where it
You
goes.
get to
But
choose what you focus on out of that, Joe,
Yeah.
and what's
it'll be a
actually
few
useful
months
for you.
before I
Mm.
Yeah, it'll be a few months before I really can wrap my head around a bunch of different perspectives, but we'll see.
Mm.
We'll see what I come up with in
Yeah.
every moment I come up with it.
Mm.
So Linda, welcome back. What's your lesson that you're taking away, darling?
Um, when you do not value yourself, you become sick. But my value of you can heal you because the value of God's Son is one.
Nice.
Mm,
Beautiful.
Nice.
beautiful.
V, did you give yours? And
Yes, creation shares power and never usurps.
uh, I want to bring us full circle back to this one thing that every time we come to the Course in Miracles, we pretty much conclude the same thing. It's all about seeing the oneness of God in all things.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yes,
Stop
mhm,
judging, stop
absolutely.
attacking with thought, word, or action. And it
mm,
always comes down to that. So for me,
Yeah.
I'm going to work more strategically on mine.
mm.
And Joe, you look so much more handsome with your hair short. And I would never think that because, I'm envious of your hair, but you really do look good with your hair
This
short,
is,
buddy.
it's not a bad look for me. I can wear a
No,
No,
hat.
no,
You
it
it's
can
a
looks
not wear
great
a
great.
look.
hat.
It's a
Like,
great look.
uh,
So we all want to
Gotta keep
acknowledge
going.
that.
Yes. Thank you, Joe. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
everybody.
Love
See
you.
ya.
Bye.
Hey,
Bye.
bye.
Bye for now.